What's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in another video today, and today we're going to be talking about some of the most recent news in the NBA as the Brooklyn Nets are trading Joe Harris to the Detroit Pistons in a deal that sends it's literally just a salary dump, as the Nets are sending Joe Harris and 2 second-round picks to the Detroit Pistons for literally nothing in return. So Detroit gets 2 seconds and Joe Harris, and in return, Detroit absolutely, Brooklyn gets absolutely nothing, but add-ins, get some more cap space for free agency. I would think this is their way of, not only moving on from Joe Harris, but also, trying to re-sign Cam Johnson, have the more money. It's because someone's gonna. I'm telling you, whether it's the Rockets or it's the Pistons, someone's gonna give Cam Johnson a high offer. Because teams, and especially like the Pistons. The Pistons are a team. Well, this is why honestly, this is probably one of the reasons why Brooklyn was trying to do this trade with Detroit to put Detroit in a cap situation to the point where Detroit would it would make Detroit even more trouble. It would be even more troubling for Detroit to sign Cam Johnson. That's just my thoughts. We'll see. But teams like the Rockets and Pistons and even other teams that have interest in Cam Johnson, the Pacers have interest as well. I know other teams do too. They know the Nets will match any offer. So in that case, they might have a high offer. And I still think the Pistons are going to make an offer for Cam Johnson, even though they just traded for Joe Harris. I think they still have the money to afford to sign Cam Johnson. Monty Williams wants to reunite with him. He's a perfect fit as well. But let's not stick, let's not talk about, Cam Johnson. Let's talk about Joe Harris. Joe Harris, who averaged 8 points per game this season with the Nets, had a lot of injuries this year, shot 43% from three. And the 21-22 season averaged 11 points per game. The 2021 season averaged 14 points per game, and the 2019-20 season averaged 14 points per game as well. Also, this interesting stat I wanted to say that he's never shot less than 40% in a season since the 17-18 season. From every season, from the 17-18 season up until this season, he's not had a season where he's had a 3-point percentage less than 41%. So this guy is a 3-point. He's a lockdown shooter, and the only problem for Joe Harris is his contract, and we'll see how the Pistons handle that. It's an expiring almost $20 million contract. So I think that's just going to be really interesting to see how Detroit handles that, because Detroit's going to want to spend some money in free agency. So how do they handle that? Because Joe Harris is a great fit for the Detroit Pistons. So they need veterans. They need 3-point shooting. So I feel like this was a great addition for the Detroit Pistons. The thing is, I just don't know, like, for this trade for the Pistons, like, what do they do about his contract? Because they want to spend some money in free agency. So I think that's going to be really interesting to see what the Pistons do about his almost $20 million expiring contract. But Joe Harris, he's a good scorer. He's a good 3-point shooter. He's one of the best 3-point percentages in the NBA. Shot 43% this season. So great 3-point shooter, good player as well. Good leader, good veteran. So it'll be interesting to see what the Pistons end up doing about maybe keeping Joe Harris. I don't think they'll get rid of him, but they'll have to figure it out. It wouldn't hurt if they maybe bought him out or waived him. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt them. Because they got second-round picks they got 2 second-round picks and literally didn't give up anything. So, it wouldn't hurt the net. It wouldn't hurt the Pistons if they waived or bought out Joe Harris. But I have an idea that the Pistons are going to be keeping Joe Harris on their roster. He's a perfect veteran for them. The Pistons weren't a good 3-point shooting team last year. He's a great 3-point shooter. So I think he's a perfect fit for the Detroit Pistons. Do you guys have any thoughts on the trade? That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace out.